Yeah. You know what I love that you just said? You said lean into your creativity. Oh, that's so awesome. I love that. I would love to put that message out there
I
for
should
anyone.
write that down.
Yeah, because I think like tapping into our creativity, I think it's in there for all of us. I know some of us feel like it's not, but it is. And when you tap into it, it really does. It lifts you up. It gives you a boost.
You are listening to Feminine Will, powered by Sweatseat. I'm Andrea McKee. This is a show about women who choose athleticism, adventure, and bravery every day. Thanks for listening. Hello, and welcome back to Feminine Will. It is another week, and I'm actually really excited about this episode. I don't know which ones are your favorites so far or if you have favorites, but I'm just incredibly inspired by all the women who come on this show. And I'm so grateful that they are willing to come on the show. And I actually have a few people lined up that I'm stoked for you to hear their stories because they are super interesting and really inspiring. And I think really inspiring is the word I really like for this show because I feel like even if you have nothing to do with whatever sport or adventure the person that you hear on the show is doing, or if that's not something you're necessarily interested in, the stories and the process around it is what hooks me. And I know that some of you say like that's what hooks you. So quick message from the sponsor Sweatseat. Sweatseat is the product that I invented, and it's a seat cover for sweaty and adventurous people and people who like to swim or go to the beach or have dogs or have kids. Whatever you want to protect your car from so that you don't get your seat dirty or so that you don't have to sit on your seat with bare legs and stick to the leather like what happened to me today. And so I got my Sweatseat out and it was glorious. It is good for so many things. If you have to park your car in the heat, whether you're going out for a hike or whatever, and you just don't want to sit on your super hot seat, just throw your Sweatseat on the seat and you'll be able to really avoid like that really hot feeling when you get back in your car. So I love my Sweatseat for so many different reasons. I invented it because I was looking on the market for something that was really, really compact. I hated seeing the bulky towel in my car. I didn't want something that rolled up that I would still have to see in my backseat or on the floor or somewhere else. I wanted it to be in a spot where I wouldn't have to see it, but it was accessible to me at all times. So Sweatseat, SWET, is waterproof on one side and absorbent on the other side. So it 100% protects your seat. And if you get in after going for a swim or after going for, a sweaty run or a workout, like it's bomb. It's awesome. And I use mine all the time. I even use it when my kids, like when we go swimming and I need a diaper or I need to I don't know. I've used it for the most random things. I have a friend who used it for at her kids' rainy football practice. I have a story from a customer who started her period at mile 18 and had been driving, had brought her husband's car with light leather seats on her run, and she was like, Andrea, I can't even tell you how glad I was that I grabbed my Sweatseat because it saved the day. And it's a seat cover made for women, and it's made by me, a woman, and all the conveniences. I don't want buckles, clips, or snaps. I don't want anything complicated. None of my Sweatseat designs have buckles, clips, or snaps. They're all just one piece. They go in the wash machine. Super easy. They're super light. They're super soft. They're good for 300 plus washings. I have 3 designs right now and a 4th one coming out in June. The classic, which is just it's the most popular because it's been around the longest. It's also gender neutral, so you or your husband or spouse or boyfriend or whatever could use it and not feel weird about wearing putting a pink sweatsuit on. But then another one of the popular designs are the Swexy, which came out in December. and it's super feminine and a lot of fun. The Neon series just came out a couple of weeks ago. A week ago was the first shipment. And that one is like your hello summer. We are here to play. So that one is available in pink, orange, and green. So head over to sweatseat.com, SWETSEAT.com, and check it out and see if it's something that you would love. It's the cost of a gym membership or a new pair of shoes. Starts at $88, and it's made locally here in Georgia. With everybody who works on the Sweatseat gets a livable wage, and the products are sustainable, so they are made with eco-friendly materials. The process by which the materials are bonded together for the waterproof nature of it is eco-friendly. I opened up shop last October, and it's business as usual right now. So it's summertime. Go check it out. See if it's something that you would use. All of the orders that you guys have made so far has really just been, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for believing in my product. And thank you for any feedback that you give. It really means a lot to me and helping me iterate and innovate. You guys are great. Thank you so much. And we will carry on with the show. So today's show is actually really unique because I got connected with another podcast host, and her name is Gina Meyer, and she hosts a podcast called Rise Resolute. Go check out her Instagram. Check out her podcast. You can listen to it anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you haven't subscribed to Feminine Will yet, and this is your first time listening, then please head over to our Instagram page. You'll get to see pictures and quotes and little snippets from my conversation with the women that I interview on this show. Gina and I had a great conversation, just a really short one that just really touched on what we're doing during COVID-19 to stay optimistic and to live our best lives under the new normal, and also kind of how we got to a point where we are podcasting. So if you're interested in hearing that story, you are about to hear it right now. And there's a couple of parts in the podcast that cut out, so apologies for that. Thank you so much for listening. If you didn't hear Lindsay Brown last week, who is the triathlete, she's done 3 half Ironmans and was about to do a full Ironman when COVID-19 happened and a race got canceled. If you haven't listened to Lori Knowles, a 4-time marathon runner, Olympic trials racer, you need to hear that because it'll blow your mind. Every single one of these women have such a unique story to tell, and every single one of them inspire me in different ways. So go have a listen. And if you have recently just come on to the show, go listen to some of the previous episodes from when I launched the show on Valentine's Day. And every single week, I've had an incredible woman on the show. Now for Gina and my conversation.
I love that we connect in this way of empowering women. Our podcasts are quite similar, but with a little nuance. We both bring something different to the table. And so I think it's fun for us to team up and do an episode together.
Yeah.
Put some positive vibes out there for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
We were talking before we went live, and we thought maybe it would be fun to do a little Q&A from both of us and sort of introduce our backgrounds then and talk a little bit about our stories. And so do you want to go first, Andrea, and give a little on your story and your background and all that?
Yeah. So I'm a host for Feminine Will. Hang on. I'm going to just go to a little different spot.
That's fine.
This is where I used to interview. It's a little bit just sort of disheveled, but it's where I used to interview before
Nice.
COVID-19 happened. And so I'll just kind of give a background about my life and how I got to this point where I'm actually interviewing amazing, athletic, and adventurous women. So I was in education for a decade, and I was a teacher. Then I was assistant principal after getting my master's degree, and then I consulted in Silicon Valley. And I worked with educators on integrating technology more effectively in their school and classroom. And then while I was consulting, I simultaneously was producing an album because I'm a singer-songwriter as well. Creativity is my life in every form.
Yeah.
And so I produced a 7-song album, which was actually, I did an episode on my podcast a few weeks ago, and it was telling the story of my music journey. And then I played like almost my entire album on there.
Love it.
Yeah. And then after I did my album, then I was in the music. I was in music for a couple of years and had my first baby. And then, and it was like, it was during that time that my husband was training for an ultra marathon. And I was like, he was like, it was his first long run of the season. And he's like, Andrew, can you come pick me up? I just got done running these 16 miles. I don't think I can make it home. And I was like, no problem. I'll be right there. I go get him. It's like mid-July. He is drenched in sweat. Like, I'm like, there's no way you're getting in this car right now. So hang on, let's see what we can find. And I found like a picnic blanket, yummy, and put that on his seat. And then luckily saved the seat from all his like grody sweat. And they were fabric seats too, so even worse. But after that, I was like, I got to come up with a solution. And I started looking online, and I didn't like anything that I was finding in terms of a seat cover. And so everything was too bulky, or it was, didn't have a headrest, or it wasn't waterproof. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't like any of these. I don't want to buy any of them. So I just invented my own, and now I have a product sweat seat. And that's actually what has brought me to this podcast is I've met so many incredible women through my company Sweat Seat. And I'm like, wow, these, like, I'm a runner. I've done half marathons, a marathon. I've done a couple of triathlons. And I've been running since 8th grade. Basically, that's how I stay fit. And I feel like when I see these women on Instagram that I'm meeting, I'm like so inspired across the board because I love to dance. So I recently had somebody who teaches dance fitness, and I was like, okay, I just want to know these women's stories. I love hearing people's stories. It's one of my favorite things in the world. I like to just sit and pick people's brains about their lives. And so that's how Feminine Will started. I was like, I'm meeting these incredible women through my company Sweat Seat, and now I want to like know their story. So yeah. I kind of just went from there and started asking the questions, and now I have a podcast. It's like awesome.
That's so fun. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So that's how we got here. It's called Feminine Will. If you are not subscribed to it, then definitely go and check it out. It's really inspiring to hear their stories, and just on Instagram at Feminine Will Podcast. So now I want to hear about you, Gina, and how you got to this point.
Well, sure. The tables have turned. I'm not used to being the one who takes the questions, but yeah, let me give you a little bit of my background. So I am a doctor of physical therapy. I started practicing in 2003, moved all over the country with my husband, who was in the Navy at the time, and then got out. And over the course of that time, have since had 4 children. And I've always loved running. Running for me is my peace. Running is my my sanity, and it keeps me strong. And it also, through my practice and seeing athletes, I just really realized that the athlete mindset and the mental skills that athletes use are unique in a way that could really help the rest of us as we navigate through life. And recovery for my patients, a lot of it is mental. And so in a way to honor my mom, who was a champion of women, and she passed. In a way to honor her, I started the podcast, and athletes were a natural point for me to start with because that's what I work with every day. And and so it just naturally evolved. I've had the pleasure of interviewing some amazing women. Dotsie Bausch is one, Rebecca Stowe, many survivors and amazing runners. Stephanie Bruce, who just placed 6th in the marathon trial. It's just been amazing. And what my main goal is just to put positivity out there in this world. And And so that's what I'm striving for. And especially at this time, Andrea, it's like such a crazy time in our world. So I think the more positive vibes we can get out there, the better. And I love that you and I both share the passion for, championing women and empowering women to really like live their best lives. So,
absolutely. And absolutely. I feel like during COVID-19, it's actually been so interesting to kind of make the shift in so many ways. Like a lot of races are getting canceled. That's hard for a lot of people because they've been training for a long time. And I just interviewed Lindsey Brown, who is a triathlete, and her Ironman, she had done 3 half Ironmans, and her first full Ironman just got canceled. And then Margaret Spring, an ultra marathoner or an ultra runner, she does 100+ mile trail races. Her big race that she's been planning for, this 100-mile race in Leadville, Colorado, just got canceled, and it was so sad. And I think that's probably one of the things, like you were talking about mindset and the power of mindset, like that mindset's what's going to get them through that challenge too.
That's right. Totally.
Because it's a challenge when you've been working. It's a challenge when you've been working really hard on something, and then it's not going to happen when you thought it was. And so you really have to change everything that you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess
we've talked a lot about, like on my podcast, we've talked a lot about how during these times it's important to not attach our worth necessarily to all of our achievements and the things that we do, but to remember that our worth kind of comes from within. It's who we are. It's not what we do, during this time. But speaking of during this time, would you like to share a few of your own personal strategies that you're using to navigate this time, Andrea?
Yeah. So for example, with the podcast, I've obviously just switched all the way over to phone interviews. And that was actually something that was hard for me.
Yeah, I bet.
To choose to do, because I love the in-person interviews. And I was actually just getting ready to start doing in-person interviews where people could come locally and see the interview in person.
Oh, neat.
So I had been setting up I'd been setting up my studio, and I'm prepping the whole thing so that people could come locally and just watch the interview live with these incredible women and then ask questions after. So I was like, the next week I was going to launch it, and then COVID-19 happened, and I had to switch gears. I had to be like, oh, all of my in-person dreams of podcasting, it's like not going to happen like that. And so that was a shift, and that still is a shift. I'm like, when am I going to be able to do that? But it's kind of looking like it's going to be a while. Another thing that I've been doing is, I've been running with a friend regularly. I used to just kind of do my own workouts, but it's actually been really nice recently, just starting to run with one of my friends. We do three runs a week together. And I think that has actually been like the social, like that's what I've needed socially.
Right.
And so those are like 2 things that come to mind for what I've been doing. What about you?
It's a challenge. First of all, it's a challenge because of 4 children at home who are homeschooling. And we're pretty locked down here in California. All roads in my life have led me here to this beautiful place. I love to be outside. I love to run. I love to hike. I love to paddleboard. I love to golf. And it feels like we've been on lockdown, But for me, I think, tapping into the gratitude of each day, whatever that may be. Sometimes it's my cup of coffee. This day in particular, it's my favorite coffee cup.
Wait, read it to me. It's backwards.
Oh, it is. It says, this is my favorite quote, Andrea. It's funny that I have this cup today. Live in the sunshine, swim the sea, drink the wild air. It's an Emerson quote. Anyway, I think embracing the little joys, of course, exercising. I've actually been journaling a little bit more. I think it's really helpful to get our thoughts down, the way that we're feeling any particular day. I'm like such a goofball, but I have a couple of journals going. One is to my children, because my mom did that for my daughter, and it's really powerful.
Oh, yeah.
One is to my mother, which I just picked up and started writing again over quarantine. I hadn't written it in like 10 years. But yeah, I think just these tools to keep us on track, to embrace the joy, to do the things that we can, and still to remain optimistic about the future, and not to give in. I was just talking to someone the other day on the podcast, and we were talking about, you can live in the sadness for a minute. You can, live there and feel it. But then it's important to know that you can't stay there. And, that we have to remain optimistic, that we have to be hopeful for our futures, and know that one day we'll race again. One day one day you'll do your in-person interviews, and, the best is still yet to be. There are good things on the horizon, right?
Yeah. Another thing that we've been doing is so my husband was going to start working from home remotely, we were like, okay, let's do a COVID-19 bucket list.
Yeah.
So we wrote down all the things that we've been wanting to do that we could physically or like mentally do in our space or around. And it has been so fun. So we tried, we've been doing some acro yoga together. I've come up with 2 new designs for my sweat seat, and I've been just popped with creativity and just decided to really lean into my creativity right now. And that's been really fulfilling.
Very cool.
And then I loved what you said about writing to your, journaling for your kids.
Yeah.
We've been writing letters to our kids for a long time and to each other. And it's actually really powerful for me too.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed, I have 2 kids, and they're both little, 3 and 1. So it's actually, having my husband home, he hasn't had to work as much as he normally does, which has been nice. It's giving me a little bit more time to kind of lean into some of my creativity. So I think the biggest thing has been seeing the things that I can do, and then saying there's no better time than now, because there are beautiful things, even when in the moment at first the change didn't seem like it was ideal.
That's right. Yeah. You know what I love that you just said? You said lean into your creativity. Oh, that's so awesome. I love that. I would love to put that message out there for anyone.
Write that down.
Yeah, because I think tapping into our creativity, I think it's in there for all of us. I know some of us feel like it's not, but it is. And when you tap into it, it really does. It lifts you up. It gives you a boost.
And that is my conversation with Gina from Rise Resolute podcast. Go check her out on Instagram, subscribe to her podcast. I really enjoyed my conversation with her. What an incredible woman. If you have not subscribed to Feminine Will, please go check out our podcast. If this is your first time, go follow us on Instagram so you get to see a little bit more into the lives of the women who come on the show. Wherever you listen to podcasts, please go and write us a review. Positive reviews really make a difference in helping people find our show and in helping people subscribe to our show when they see it. So go write us a review. If you haven't shared this with one friend, go pick out either your favorite episode, or if you loved this one, then send it off to a friend. The biggest thing for us, for me specifically doing this podcast, is I truly believe in the power of feminine will. And I know that as a woman, when I share something positive and uplifting with another woman, it's powerful. When somebody else shares something positive with me, it's powerful. So please take time and share one of your favorite episodes from this podcast with a friend who could use it. It doesn't have to be somebody who's into athletics or into super adventurous things, but really listening to any of these podcasts will help anybody. It will just give them a little bit more energy. So thank you so much for listening, and see you next Monday.